Have you ever felt that some of life's most important lessons came too late? That if you'd known them sooner, things would have been different, clearer, lighter? We live in a world that rarely teaches us to prioritize what truly matters and instead pushes us to waste time and energy on the fleeting. Today, we're going to explore the life lessons many of us wish we'd understood earlier. Lessons that could have spared us conflicts, loneliness, or regrets, and given us a peace and freedom beyond price. Drawing from Stoicism and the wisdom of other great thinkers, we'll uncover principles that can transform the way we live each day. I'm Gabriel, and if this is your first time here, I invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our topics. Stay until the end, because this video could be the key to not learning these lessons too late. Let's begin. Number 1, don't assume you'll always have time. So often we live as if time were an endless resource, as if we'd always have the chance to do more, say what we mean, or repair relationships when the time is right. But the truth, which many of us discover too late, is that time is the most fragile and limited asset we have. And by the time we truly learn this, we've already missed opportunities, put off conversations, and let precious moments slip away. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire yet reflected deeply on mortality, put it clearly: "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Stoicism constantly reminds us that life is brief and that waiting for some uncertain future is a trap. But this insight isn't just philosophical, it's deeply practical. How often do we postpone the important things? We say that someday we'll talk to that person, that when we're ready, we'll take that trip, that when things are perfect, we'll finally start truly living. But perfection never arrives, and time keeps passing without waiting for things to fall into place. This is the reality we all face sooner or later. To avoid this trap, we must make today our foundation. Think of the small daily decisions as investments in a life without regrets. Is there something important you'd like to tell a friend, a child, or a loved one? Say it now. Don't wait for a better time. As author Leo Buscaglia said, life is a game of moments. You only have the moment you're in, nothing more. When we understand this, we begin to prioritize what truly matters and stop acting as if time were a luxury that never runs out. It's also essential to let go of the idea that time is mine to shape as I wish. Stoicism and practical wisdom encourage us to live with humility and to avoid postponing what's within our reach today. It's not about living in haste, but with intention. Dedicate time to what matters, to the people you value, and set aside what consumes your time without giving you satisfaction or purpose. If this resonates with you, you can start today. Make that call, have that overdue conversation, or spend a few minutes on what truly fills your life. As Seneca reminds us, life is enough if used well. Each day can become an investment in a life you won't look back on with regret. Number 2, not every battle deserves your energy. Throughout life, we spend a lot of energy on conflicts that, with time, turn out to be irrelevant. In the end, the satisfaction of being right or defending a stance is insignificant compared to the peace we could have preserved by letting go of the fight. This is a lesson many learn only after having exhausted their peace in senseless disputes. Epictetus said it well: "Whoever is not master of their anger becomes a slave to others." Life is a series of choices about where to put our energy. Often, conflicts and disagreements seem to demand our full attention, and we dedicate hours, days, or even years to defending our stance as if happiness depended on the outcome. Yet the truth is that not every fight is worth the cost to our peace. Remember, inner peace isn't a victory in a debate. It's a state of calm, built by learning to choose our battles wisely. Imagine a familiar scenario, a recurring argument with a child, a friend, or a neighbor. Maybe the first time it felt necessary to address it, but over time, it becomes a constant struggle that drains you and leaves you with less energy for what truly matters. Eastern sage Confucius said, "Before embarking on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves." This reminds us that when we allow ourselves to be consumed by unnecessary conflicts, we end up hurting ourselves. So how do we decide what deserves our energy and what doesn't? The key is to consider whether the conflict contributes to our growth or if it's merely an ego battle. If it doesn't allow you to move forward, if it isn't essential to your peace or your meaningful relationships, it's a fight you can let go. As Zen monk Thich Nhat Hanh said, sometimes peace is more important than being right. Practicing this wisdom in daily life isn't easy, but it starts by being aware of the small battles that disrupt your calm. When someone provokes you, or when you find yourself in an argument, ask yourself, what do I truly gain by holding on to this? If the answer doesn't contribute to your well-being or peace, consider letting the battle go and redirecting that energy towards something that does build your life. In the end, learning to choose our battles is one of the most effective ways to live in peace. Not everything deserves your time or energy. As the Stoics teach us, serenity is a treasure worth guarding and protecting. Number 3, some people aren't worth your time. The people we choose to share our lives with hold immense power. They can nourish us, help us grow, bring us joy. Or they can drain our energy, increase our worries, and affect our well-being. This is a lesson many of us learn too late, after spending years trying to maintain relationships that have taken more from us than they've given. Aristotle said, "Friendship is a single soul dwelling in 2 bodies, and in that connection lies strength, but also vulnerability." Choosing carefully who surrounds us isn't just about companionship, it's a decision that directly affects our emotional and mental health. When we're younger, we often seek approval or surround ourselves with people out of convenience or simply out of habit. But there comes a point in life when we understand that the quality of our relationships matters more than the quantity. We learn that those we share our time with can deeply influence our mental peace, our outlook on life, and even our physical health. How many times have we felt a sense of relief after distancing ourselves from someone who constantly brings drama, negativity, or conflict? Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, advised choosing friends wisely, saying, "Choose those with whom you will share the weight of life, and you will avoid being crushed by it." Surrounding ourselves with people who uplift us, support us, and make us feel at peace isn't selfish. It's practical wisdom. It's learning to build an environment where we can be ourselves without fear of judgment or excessive demands. To put this lesson into practice, start by observing how you feel after spending time with each person in your life. Do you feel peace, motivation, joy? Or do you end up feeling drained, irritated, or dissatisfied? Reflecting on this will help you identify who adds to your life and who takes away. It's not always easy, especially when it comes to family or longtime friends, but setting healthy boundaries is essential for protecting our inner peace. It's also important to nurture the relationships you already have that genuinely enrich your life. Don't take for granted the people who support you, who listen to you, and who are there for you. A quality friendship or relationship needs to be cultivated, valued, and protected. Spend time with those who bring out the best in you, who lift you up, and you'll see how this peace reflects in your daily life. Surrounding yourself with people who elevate your life isn't just a choice, it's a matter of well-being. When we allow authentic and valuable people into our lives, we ensure that our path is accompanied by positive energy and genuine support. Remember, Good company is one of the most precious gifts you can give yourself. Number 4, independence is a treasure not to be surrendered. Independence is something many of us take for granted in our youth, but come to truly value when we begin to lose it. Whether it's emotional, financial, or physical, our autonomy is one of the deepest sources of freedom and dignity. This isn't about living in isolation or rejecting help, but about preserving the ability to make decisions for ourselves, to feel that our choices and our lives remain ours. Seneca, always so direct, said, "A person is free who lives as they wish." Because in the end, true freedom is in being able to make our own decisions without others doing it for us. Independence isn't just about being self-sufficient in daily tasks. It goes deeper. It's emotional independence and the power to steer our own destiny. Sadly, this is a lesson many come to understand only after realizing they've given too much of their lives to others' expectations or desires. It could be to children, a partner, or the demands of circumstances, and we often don't realize the essential nature of this freedom until we begin to lose it. Imagine a common story. A man or woman reaching later life, only to realize that many aspects of their life have been controlled by others, with or without malintent. Perhaps it was family, societal expectations, or even their own doubts and fears. But there comes a point when they feel they no longer control where they live, how they spend their time, or how they make daily decisions. It's then they realize that independence isn't just a wish, it's essential for living with dignity. To protect this independence, Stoicism and practical wisdom encourage us to begin building real autonomy now. Financially, this means having a savings plan or a safety net to avoid complete dependence on others. Emotionally, it means learning to set boundaries, respecting our own decisions and needs, and not feeling obligated to always please others. Physically, taking care of our health and staying active also becomes an act of independence, of taking control of our well-being while it's still in our hands. At this point, it's worth recalling Viktor Frankl's insight. Everything can be taken from a person, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Protecting our independence is also choosing how we want to face life and ultimately how we want to live it to the end. Independence is a treasure that can fill us with satisfaction and peace, even in moments of solitude. It's not selfishness or pride. It's the conscious choice to live freely, to respect ourselves, and to be the owners of our decisions. It's an act of self-love that we can honor each day, so that at the end of our lives, we know we've lived according to our own desires and values. If you're enjoying the video so far and feel that you're uncovering new lessons for living with more peace and purpose, I invite you to subscribe and hit the like button. This helps me continue creating content that adds value to those who, like you, seek a life of serenity and meaning. And let me know where you're listening from. I'd love to know where in the world we're connected, sharing these reflections. Stay tuned until the end, because lesson number 7 could completely transform your perspective on enjoying what you have without constantly waiting for more. Let's continue. Number 5. Gratitude transforms pain. Life is full of challenges, hard times, and losses that, in many cases, we can't avoid. We go through disappointments, breakups, the distance of loved ones, and the inevitable passage of time. But within each of these difficult experiences lies a tool that many of us discover too late: gratitude. It's easy to feel grateful when things are going well, but the true power of gratitude reveals itself in moments of pain, when nothing seems to make sense. Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of the Holocaust, said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it has the power to transform it. It allows us to see beyond suffering and find something valuable even in the most difficult experiences. Imagine that instead of staying in bitterness or complaint, we start to seek out a small lesson, a moment of connection, or a truth that emerges from the experience. Gratitude then becomes a practice of strength, of emotional resilience, helping us accept and integrate pain as part of personal growth. For many, gratitude can seem difficult when disappointments have been profound, when relationships have failed, or when loved ones are no longer with us. However, gratitude is an act of presence, a choice to focus on what we still have and what we've learned, rather than on what we've lost. It's not about ignoring pain, but balancing it with moments of recognition and appreciation for what remains good in our lives. As Seneca said, "Nothing is as miserable or as joyful as it seems. Everything depends on perspective." So how do we practice gratitude even in hard times? The key is to start with small moments. For example, at the end of each day, recall 3 things, no matter how small, for which you can feel grateful. It might have been a hug, an honest conversation, a moment of peace, or simply the chance to breathe and live another day. This simple act of daily acknowledgement can shift our perspective on life and help us face pain, providing a source of strength and comfort that nothing external can give. Gratitude also reminds us that the people we share our lives with are a gift. Rather than focusing on their imperfections, the act of appreciating their presence lets us see the value of their companionship without expecting them to be perfect. This shift in perception changes how we experience our relationships, creating a space of appreciation and acceptance. Psychologist and author Robert Emmons, who has studied the power of gratitude, notes that practicing it regularly not only improves mental health, but also strengthens the immune system and reduces stress. Gratitude is more than an emotion. It's a habit of mind that helps us approach life from a perspective of abundance, even when we are going through times of scarcity. Let's remember that gratitude is the ability to find beauty amid chaos, to transform pain into growth and fear into acceptance. It's not a quick fix, but it's a powerful tool that, when practiced, allows us to look at the past with peace and live the present with deep serenity. In the end, being grateful is the choice to see life from a place of hope, to know that no matter what happens, there is always something to be thankful for. Number 6, listen to your intuition, not just your fears. Throughout life, we often act driven by fear of what might happen. Fear of rejection, loneliness, losing what we have, or making a mistake. However, a lesson many learn too late is the importance of listening to our intuition, that inner sense that guides us toward what we truly need, beyond what we're afraid of losing. Unlike fear, intuition is a gentle, wise voice that invites us to make decisions aligned with our well-being, even if it means stepping outside our comfort zone. The Stoics, like Seneca, spoke about living in accordance with our nature, making decisions from a place of stillness and clarity, without being swept away by intense emotions. Fear can be useful, but if we let it take over, it drowns out that natural intuition that knows what's best for us. As psychologist Carl Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Often, that inner knowing gives us a direction that fear tries to block, and in that lies the difference between a life of mere safety and a life of fulfillment. How do we recognize intuition versus fear? Intuition usually brings a sense of calm and clarity, even when the decision is difficult. Fear, on the other hand, is often agitated, pressuring us with anxious, racing thoughts. Learning to tell them apart is like tuning an instrument. It takes practice, but leads to wiser decisions, more aligned with our deepest values and desires. For example, you might feel the urge to start a project, reconnect with someone, or even make a life change. If you honestly ask yourself what's holding you back and realize it's fear of failure, judgment, or discomfort, then it's likely your intuition trying to guide you. Give it space and listen to what you truly want without the interference of what-ifs. Not every decision needs to come with a guarantee. Sometimes, simply trusting our intuition leads us to experiences of growth and satisfaction that fear could never offer. Let's remember that intuition is the voice of our own wisdom, and listening to it is a way of honoring our own path, our essence, and our true well-being. Number 7, enjoy what you have before wishing for more. Modern life teaches us to constantly want more success, more recognition, more possessions. But one of the lessons many of us learn too late is that true happiness is rarely found in what we lack, but in what we already have. The Stoics and other wise thinkers from various traditions have repeatedly emphasized the importance of appreciating the present, finding satisfaction in the here and now, rather than being swept away by the illusion that we need more to be happy. Marcus Aurelius expressed this wisdom. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that life will be better if we reach just one more goal, acquire one more possession, or gain one more validation. But this mindset keeps us locked in a cycle of dissatisfaction and constant pursuit of something that always seems just out of reach. The truth is, when we look back, many of the happiest moments in our lives have been simple, ordinary, even imperfect. And in those moments, the present, without embellishment or grand achievements, was more than enough. Enjoying what we have doesn't mean settling or giving up on growth. It means learning to value what's already in our hands without the urgency to change or improve it. It's a practice rooted in gratitude, in seeing the beauty in the everyday. It could be the smell of coffee in the morning, the peace of a quiet afternoon, an honest conversation, or simply the fact of being alive. These are the small gems of the present that we often overlook in our pursuit of something better. To practice this lesson, try pausing each day to recognize something in your life right now that brings you satisfaction. It could be as simple as your health, an unexpected call, or the comfort of your home. This practice of being grateful before wishing reminds us that the essentials for a fulfilling life are rarely what we lack. They're what we already have. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk, taught that peace is every step, and that the key to a full life is learning to be present in each moment rather than losing life in pursuit of what we think we're missing. When we adopt this perspective, anxiety and dissatisfaction diminish, and what we have, even if simple, becomes a source of serenity. Life isn't a race to acquire more, but a journey we can enjoy as it is. Instead of seeking happiness in the next achievement, the next purchase, or the next relationship, try to find it in what you have today. When we integrate this lesson into our lives, it becomes a source of peace that allows us to walk with more calm and gratitude, knowing that in each step we already have what we need to be at peace. Life is full of lessons, and some come only after we've paid a price for not learning them sooner. But that doesn't mean it's too late to apply them. Each day is a new opportunity to choose peace over conflict, to appreciate what we have instead of longing for what's missing, and to seek relationships that nourish us rather than drain our energy. In the end, it's not about achieving some unreachable perfection, but about living with more serenity, gratitude, and presence. Learning to live this way is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. These principles aren't just for getting through the years ahead, they're for filling those years with meaning and savoring the journey with all its challenges and beauty. The Stoics, along with other great thinkers, remind us that each choice and every moment are part of building a life of peace and purpose. I'm Gabriel, and if this is your first time here, I invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the topics we're exploring together. And if you've made it this far, it means you're committed to personal growth, and that deserves recognition. To know who's made it to the end, comment, "I am Stoic," and let me know where you're listening from. I'd love to read your comments and see who's joining me on this path of self-discovery. Don't leave without sharing this video with your loved ones. Maybe there's someone in your life who needs to hear these words and find a new perspective today. Sometimes, a small piece of advice can make a big difference. See you in the next video.